Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. It is officially hump day. Humpty hump, hump, hump. November 20th, holy lordy. We are officially, I'm so close to my camera. I was like too close to the audience. We are officially 2 months out from inauguration. Bleep's hitting the fan. And the question is, do we have a deal? Do we have a deal between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin? Well, hang tight, folks, because we're going to get into that. And we know there's meetings going on behind the scenes that may or may not have this bad boy resolved. Now, World War III is close. Don't get me wrong. Missiles are being fired in the Russia. Thank you to Joe Biden and Zelensky. I think there's a little bit more to it, and we're going to break down a transcript that's kind of old, but we're going to give you a synopsis because its transcript's like 20 pages long. And it's between Putin and, a Security Council, and I got the receipts for you, baby. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does support us. Follow us over at Rumble. We're also on X, known as Twitter, or Twitter, known as X, either or. And your support would be greatly appreciated. I see everybody in the chat. Love it. Hitting that like button. Probably now that we have a strike. I always say this more than ever, but at least let's try it. Let's try to hit the like button and see if it helps. I'm also going to try something new here, folks. Some of you may or may not like it. I am going to watch my language today because I want to try something new. I want to try, now it's not good because it is censoring, but I'm doing this as an experiment. I want to see that if I watch my language and I don't have a potty mouth, if YouTube will push my videos a little bit more, because it does a AI algorithm, not an algorithm, but it does it tracks a transcript of what I say. And so if I think I don't cuss and I'm a good boy today, well, let's just experiment with it for once. Okay. So let's just see. Nobody told me to do this. It's just trying something new. So I'll make sure you guys are in the loop of what's going on here. Also, again, we do this each and every day. Thank you, Tyler. Each and every day, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then a sprinkle of politics on the weekends. And with that being said, folks, let's jump right into the news. We've never been closer to a World War III, which is freaky deaky. I'm not one of those extremists. I like my life. I don't want to go to war. I want to sleep in my cozy bed. I don't want to go to the Ukrainian front here and fight the Russians. No, sir. I'm okay being here. I like it. So Russia changes nuclear policy. Nuclear policy. Sorry, I was reading Minnie's freaking comment here. Brad, you almost never cuss at all. I know. Well, I cuss probably once an episode, to be honest. Nuclear policy as Ukraine fires U.S. missiles into Russia. So let's do a cut for Franco here, and we'll start again. Russia changes nuclear policy as Ukraine fires U.S. missiles into Russia. The White House National Security Council said the U.S. has not seen any changes in Russia's nuclear posture. It just happened. It just happened. Like, what do you expect to see change in like 24 hours? All these people. So Ukraine's military fired several long-range American missiles into Russia this week on the 100th day of the war, marking the first time it has done so since Russia invaded back in early 2022. Man, I can't believe it's even been that long. It feels like just yesterday. Feels like yesterday Russia invaded Ukraine, and then Karine Jean-Pierre stood on the podium during the White House press briefing and told all of us that it was called the Putin's price hike of why you're paying $7 a gallon for gas. Now, I live in California, and that's literally what we were paying. Okay, some of you weren't paying that, but that's what we got here. So it feels like it hasn't been that long, but it has. Jeez Louise. I feel like we've been to war ourselves. That's a joke, okay? We've been through a lot, though. Thank God Trump's back in office. We'll be in 2 months. 6 American missiles were used in the pre-dawn attack that struck an ammunition depot in Russia's region. Russia claimed it shot down 5 of the 6. I was going to mention that, but it seems like they got it here. But that information had not been independently verified. The attack came just a couple of days after Joe Biden, here we go, authorized to use American-made missiles for strikes inside Russia after resisting Ukraine's request to do so for many months. My question is that if we know Vladimir Putin has a problem with us giving Ukraine, say, missiles, I get like, hey, give them some Humvees and stuff, give them some guns or whatever. But missiles, why would you give them the long-range missiles that could be used to go into Russia? Why couldn't we have just, like, I don't know, done like a multi-trade deal here where maybe it was Israeli missiles? I don't know. Maybe it was like, ship, you guys over there in the UK, you have missiles, and we know the French don't. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry. But realistically, could we have used the French's missiles, the Frenchmen, the Frenchies, and just said, we're going to launch some French fries over there, Putin. Just French fries, don't worry. They're hot and spicy, but they're good. That's my question. Like, I don't know why he's doing this, meaning Joe. I don't know if he's trying to stir the pot because he's upset that Donald Trump won. Not sure. Some analysts were concerned that the strikes represented an escalation in the war, while others believe that the strikes strengthened Ukraine's negotiating position ahead of President-elect Donald Trump coming back into office. Trump has pledged to force a quick end to the war. Now, we know that Donald Trump is calling for a meeting between Zelensky, Putin, and himself to resolve this whole thing. If Ukraine thinks they're coming out of this winning in any way, shape, or form, I want to say they're sorely mistaken. Russia, at the end of the day, does have all the cards. And yeah, we could say, oh, well, we're going to come in and do this or that. I don't think we're going to, folks. And I think Putin knows that. Looking at the way a lot of Americans are talking, none of us want to get involved in this. Quite frankly, we just want it to end. And I think for that to end, Vlad's going to have to give up some land. I think that's going to be the case. I could be wrong. Now, the New York Times reported the event that changed Biden's mind about Ukraine being able to use missiles was North Korea sending thousands of soldiers in Ukraine to fight the Russians. I don't think that's a reason to go ahead and start launching missiles into Russia and escalate things to levels we haven't seen in my lifetime. That's for damn sure. A Ukrainian official said the strike hit a warehouse containing artillery ammunition. We know that. On the same day the strike, Russian Vladimir Putin lowered his country's threshold for using nuclear weapons, a move that had been anticipated since at least September when it first announced. Now, the new doctrine, buckle up, states aggression against the Russian Federation and or its allies by any non-nuclear state with the participation or support of a nuclear state is considered as their joint attack. So basically, if this person attacks Russia and this person received ammunition or some sort of missiles from the other country, well, now it's basically as if the United States attacked Russia. But here's the thing. Read it carefully. Or its allies by any non-nuclear state with the participation or support of a nuclear state is considered as their joint attack. He's talking about us giving missiles to the Ukrainians and launching them into Russia, which is now, I assume, either an act of war or a nuclear kind of, we can use nukes now, Russia's saying. I think it's all puff in the chest, in my opinion, but we know Putin's a little psycho. Now, the White House Security Council was not surprised by Putin lowering the country's threshold for using nuclear weapons. I don't think they were surprised, but I think it's also a way for them to act like, it's going to be fine, like lowering the temperature a little bit in the way that they talk. I was listening to the press secretary for the Pentagon, and she was kind of like just playing it off like, it's not a big deal. Yeah, we knew he was going to do it. I mean, it's fine. Well, observing no changes to Russia's nuclear posture, we have not seen any reason to adjust our own nuclear posture or doctrine in response to Russia's statements today. But I mean, that doesn't mean much to me, especially from administration here, meaning Joe Biden, the Biden-Harris administration, that allows people to do crazy ass things and doesn't know anything about it, but plays down the crazy ass things. That's what people are doing. It's weird as hell to me. And I'm mostly talking about what the Iranians are doing. I really don't trust government in general, but I definitely don't trust Joe Biden. Now, if you recall, this is some old news, but if you recall, Putin did meet with his Security Council at the Kremlin, and I want to break down this story for all of you. Let me get it going here. We go all the way back up to the top, and you guys can kind of see this for yourselves. This is the transcript right here. And as you can see, it's extremely long. And no, we're not going through all of it. I'm going to paraphrase. That was my job. I got to read it. President held a meeting on the Russian Federation Security Council at the Kremlin, February 21st, 2022. Gee, that sounds a lot like pretty close to the day of you-know-what. Now, let me break this down for you. During this meeting, their purpose was to discuss the situation in Donbass, where President Vladimir Putin and key Russian officials assessed the ongoing conflict and the status of the Minsk agreements. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing what this whole thing's talking about. Well, the Minsk agreements, if you may have not heard of it, these were intended to resolve tensions in eastern Ukraine, and officials unanimously argued that Ukraine and its Western allies have not honored the agreements with Russia, accusing Ukraine of refusing direct dialogue with the Donetsk and the Lugansk People's Republic and escalating military aggression. Russia framed its efforts as attempts to protect Russian-speaking populations from alleged genocide and constant attacks, while highlighting NATO's expansion and U.S. influence as direct threats to Russian security. The discussion centered on recognizing the sovereignty of these two people's republics, with officials asserting that Ukraine's disregard for peace agreements and military buildups near the Russian border left no other option. So again, this is the transcript coming between Vladimir Putin and his security councils, and kind of gets you into their mindset of, well, what caused all this? Where was the escalation coming from? Did the United States have involvement, meaning NATO, and it seems like we did in terms of escalating this whole thing? And, well, here we are. And officials warned of heightened Western sanctions, but emphasized Russia's preparedness to endure them, citing a moral obligation to protect its citizens and maintain regional stability. The consensus leaned towards recognition of the two republics as a necessary step to secure peace and counteract Western hostility. I also bring this up because since this was one of the influences, the variables that go into this whole thing of what we believe Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine for, again, many of the reasons, is I think this is part of the negotiations of what might take place between Zelensky, Putin, and Trump. Now, again, we saw the video of Trump wanting to get on the phone with both of them, and I think, quite frankly, he already has. I think he's already talked to a lot of people. Nobody will comment if things have happened or not. And I get that. I totally get that. But I'm curious on, what's going to happen here, if he'll get it done before, or if he's going to get it done or get it done at all. Because I'm telling you, folks, this should not be played down whatsoever with what's going on between Russia, Ukraine, now changing their policy. And it might not just be the policy for nuclear weapons and their nuclear policy of that changing. It might just be like, hey, you know what? This policy kind of allows us to do a lot more. And we're tired of being poked a little bit here with American munitions. Now we're just going to really start dropping the bombs on Ukraine. So we're going to see what happens with that. We do need Trump right now. I don't know why Bleephead, meaning Joe Biden, thinks it's a great idea to do this. But there is a clip here, I want to find it for all of you, from Glenn Beck that kind of think highlights really well, not just our audience, but also I think what a lot of people are thinking. And the reason why I want to show you Glenn Beck is I'm a fan of the Blaze. I've actually even reached out to their people to see if we could move the Bald Brad Show onto the Blaze. We heard nothing, but that's okay. No hard feelings. But a lot of people, my audience does resonate with Glenn Beck. Again, a lot of people have bought my book, also buy Glenn Beck's book. So clearly there's some connection there. But let's listen to what the man has to say here.
So last night, after, a day ago, 2 days ago, we finally heard that the president had given Ukraine the go-ahead to use these U.S. long-range missiles at Russia. Ukrainian troops launched an attack against a Russian border region with 6 U.S. long-range missiles. This comes after, again, Putin approved the updated doctrine lowering the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. How many times has this guy given us a red line and said, don't cross this or it will be World War III? And we've crossed it every single time. For a man who's backed in the corner, a man who is a bloodthirsty killer, you don't keep backing him into a corner. Or what happens? Eventually, he says, I'll have absolutely no credibility, and his people who have just been bombed with U.S. missiles, which he just said 2 days ago will be an act of war, has got to say, you know what? The worst thing I can do is not act because I'll lose all credibility in my own country and throughout the rest of the world. We have entered a moment of madness. What Joe Biden did is impeachable. Who launches 62 days before you're out of the office? Who starts World War III? By the way, there's a couple of other things you should know. This isn't the only thing going on. There's been a couple of other things. First of all, they cut some telecommunication cables. Who?
Did you guys hear about that? The telecommunication cables that go in the ocean. I mean, this stuff's deep, man. Like deep down there. And a lot of people think it was the Russians. I forget which countries it really cussed. It was European countries that the communications got severed with. I don't know if you all heard this, but
we don't know, but we suspect the Chinese. The Chinese ship Yi Peng.
I've also heard suspecting the Russians, by the way.
Is the main suspect in an investigation now on who cut 2 undersea telecom cables between Finland and Germany. Why would you cut cables between Finland and Germany? Well, if you're going to restore the Soviet Empire, Finland was part of that Soviet Empire. They've been the ones saying, please stop all this madness. That was cut. Oh, also the telecommunications lines between Sweden and Lithuania. Sweden was an allied. Lithuania was an Axis. Lithuania was under Soviet rule as well. The ship sailed right over the cables when they were cut 8 a.m. on Sunday and 2 a.m. on Monday.
China, rut cable. What rut cable? Pretend like they didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen those video clips where somebody's trying to talk English to a Chinaman and he doesn't know any English? Rut cable. Rut cable, rut cable.
Gang, things could be different by lunchtime. Pray for your country. Pray that Vladimir Putin does not strike a NATO country, even with a conventional bomb. Pray that this madman will listen to Donald Trump and realize this is over in 62 days.
Well, that's pretty much the end of it anyways. But he's right. I mean, I actually don't agree that it's impeachable. I don't like it, obviously, but I don't think it's an impeachable offense. I mean, that's the power that the president has and that we bestow upon him. But he is right that there wasn't, unless we're missing something, I'm not sure if this was even needed. And I don't know if, I'm trying to make sense of why do it. And I can't, to be honest. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. In this case, I'm trying to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt of why he would do something like this. I don't know why you would have to know this would escalate tensions. And I think Glenn Beck packaged it in a really great way of you're kind of putting this guy's back against the wall. And what I also find interesting is it seems like Joe doesn't really care all that much. I mean, I'm sure he does, right? But I don't think he's handling it in the way that clearly he's supposed to be, because if you recall, he hadn't talked to Vladimir Putin on the phone. He hasn't talked to the guy. And Putin's come out and said, yeah, I would love to talk about peace and negotiations. Now, even what he's proposing might not be something that will create peace or even get a deal going, but at least try to negotiate with the guy, pick up the phone and call him saying, hey, can we get things going here and fix this and figure this out? People are dying left and right on Ukraine and Russia. Why are we doing all this? He's not getting on the phone. And it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the little acting out of the Chinaman. Hit that like button if you haven't already, folks. Greatly appreciate it. We got a lot of people watching. I don't know what's going on today, but we always have people tuning in. If it's your first time viewing the Bald Brad Show, again, we do this every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Might as well give a shout out to our sponsor. And our sponsor, well, it's baldbradstore.com. We do have a website, folks. It's baldbrad.com. You can go to our links there. Again, it's, why don't we just go to it? Baldbrad.com. You can check out our website. We also have a book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Like I said, if you like Glenn Beck, if you like The Blaze, if you like Ben Shapiro, if you like Thomas Sowell, if you like Charlie Kirk, if you like all those people, well, you're basically getting all of that in one book packaged together for you. And it's the holiday season. Now's the time. There's a 35% discount on Amazon right now. And that's the hardcover. The paperback is less than $14. Great book, great read, very informative. It's How the Left is Destroying America, and you'll be thoroughly equipped with any arguments during the Thanksgiving holiday. With your crazy aunt or your crazy uncle, that's a progressive. The hairs and the pigtails or buzzed head, I guess now. Whatever the hell is going on. Well, we also have this crazy news here, kind of sidestepping away from World War III. Did you guys hear about what happened at Mar-a-Lago? There's drama at Mar-a-Lago. And people aren't happy. And it had to do with Musk getting spicy with somebody. And people were saying there was a fight. People were saying it was just an argument. People were saying fists were being thrown. Where Elon Musk was kind of defending Donald Trump. And bleep at the fan. This went viral yesterday. And now we have updates of what's going on at Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. It's Doge. So, source denies this whole thing. A source denies that Elon Musk had a massive blow up with Trump advisor Boris, is it Epshteyn, at Mar-a-Lago. Let's break this down. A Donald Trump transition source is denying a report that Tesla CEO Elon Musk had a massive blow up at a dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Now, remember, this is like Donald Trump's new buddy. Elon Musk is kind of like the man of the hour right now. You know, when you get like that new best friend, you just click really well with them and they're always around you and you're always hanging out and you're having a great time together. That's basically what's going on with Donald Trump and Elon Musk right now. Terry, thank you so much for the $2. Hit that like button, please. I love that. Thank you so much. Always supporting. We got a lot of people in the chat as well. Always appreciate every single one of you. And I do see you guys over at Rumble as well. I actually have a new chat function that shows me both where you guys are writing from. And I see Krager, like button, hit it. I love it. So Axios claimed Musk, who was named co-head of the new advisory body known as, you guys know I like saying it. I'm waiting for Trump to use it more often. It's called the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. I get a kick every time I get to say it. It's DOGE. Has been feuding with Boris Epshteyn, a special assistant to Trump during his first term in 2017. Last Wednesday, the tension between the two men reportedly reached a boiling point. Now, remember, Musk is, I believe Musk knows martial arts. You know what I mean? He's putting Boris in it. Come on. Just putting him in a stranglehold, a little sleeper triangle hold, just pulling him back. Reached a boiling point in Trump's Florida estate. Dinner guests witnessed a massive blow-up and a huge explosion as Musk lashed out at Epshteyn about tipping off the media, the outlet reported. That's a big accusation. And what they're calling this is, when people were talking about it, Musk blew up because he was upset that there was a mole inside the Trump team. And this is when he lost his bleep. And if that is the case, good on Musk for calling this out. And it shows that Musk actually cares, that Musk is he's a real one. He's a real one. He's one of the boys. And the tensions got really high. But a source with the tension team said, well, that wasn't true. People familiar with both Elon and Boris unequivocally state that the whole story is complete and total nonsense. It's rubbish. what Axios is known for. The two have been working together very well and are both focused on assisting President Trump and making America great again. Now, who knows, right? Who knows if there really was a blow up or not? If Elon comes out with bruised and bloody knuckles and a black eye, I'll know it was legit. Look, if I was Trump, I would stand back, let Elon do his thing. Elon, don't kill him. We might need him later for negotiations. Hey, you never know. But that's the two right there. Those are the buddies. And it's not a bad thing to have Elon, a billionaire, on our side. Now, Axios is citing unnamed sources. Typical. It's always unnamed sources. And reported that Musk had complained that Epstein, a Trump advisor, had too much influence on his recent picks, including a controversial selection of Matt Gaetz for attorney general. Now, here's the thing. I believe when I was trying to still wake up this morning and do a little bit more show prep, I believe, and maybe some patriot can confirm in the chat, I believe Elon Musk did come out recently within the last 24 hours and support Matt Gaetz. Trump also named William McGinley, a longtime Republican lawyer, as White House counsel, another move that Axios sources claimed was contributed or attributed to Epstein's influence. Well, I mean, again, it's kind of a lot of hearsay, which is typical from the team over at Axios, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was all BS, but it is kind of nice to know that if something like this was true, that Donald Trump has people around him that are going to end up actually supporting the president. So I want to find out and confirm for you if I did read that Elon Musk supports Matt Gaetz. I want to say I did read something like that this morning. And let me see if I can pull it up for you. I'll get this geared up for you. So maybe he didn't. Yeah, I'll have to see if I thought I saw something this morning. I got to see if I could find it for all of you. I won't be able to find it right now. I want to get into some other news. It's a little bit of a shortened show today because I do have a work meeting early in the morning and I got to make sure I get there on time. So we'll probably go for about another 10, 15 minutes and then we'll cut it a little bit short. So we got a lot. I mean, if you want to see the news I got lined up for y'all, it's right here. So why don't we do some pickings here? Why don't we do a little bit of picky? There was, where is it at? Here's kind of a cool one. This is a really big callback, but Colorado pays $1.5 million for violating artists' First Amendment rights after historic SCOTUS case. Now I'm gonna break this down really quickly, but the court ruled in June that the state could not compel Lori Smith and her design studio 303 Creative to create art that violates her religious, beliefs. As a Christian, Smith believes that marriage should be between a man and a woman, though she wanted to design wedding websites. Colorado discrimination laws would have required her to create some same-sex wedding websites, which this kind of goes into, if you kind of remember the baker, where I think it was a lesbian couple came in and wanted him to bake a cake for them. He's like, hey, you know what? It just goes against my religious beliefs. I'm not going to do it, but you can go and find another place to do it. I think there was also a baker where you had a same-sex couple come in and want him to bake a cake. He's like, I'll bake a cake for you, but I'm not going to kind of design it and stuff like that. And both lawsuits, where people are now being forced against their First Amendment rights to do something that goes against their First Amendment rights. And what's crazy is that you can just go to another bakery. Why do you have to create this hubbub and always act like a victim of, oh, well, he's not going to bake a cake for me? One, you could bake your own damn cake. How about that for a thought? Might be cheaper, by the way. Or two, you can go to the other thousands of bakeries. And three, why don't you just go find an LGBTQ plus Alabama soup, Cupid, zigzag, up, down, left, right bakery? Why don't you just go to your, where you know somebody's going to bake it? Why are you seeking out individuals that say they're Christian and now we have to deal with this crap because you're being discriminated against because somebody won't bake you a damn cake? This is how petty people are. They're petties. Pity, patter, pity. It's a hell of a tongue twister here in the morning. That deserves a like right there. I need to get through my coffee. I'm not awake yet. Oh, wow. We got more people. Okay. Peggy, thank you so much for the $5. Thumbs up. Good. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Again, everybody contributing their hard-earned money. I really appreciate all of that. Love that. Thank you, you guys. You guys are going ham today on the donation tab. Greatly appreciated. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything over at the Rumble. Now, if you guys aren't aware, again, I do want to say we're taking massive hits on YouTube at the moment because we did get a strike. They didn't like what I said about January 6th. So ever since November 14th, they're not liking us so much at the moment because they don't like truth. That's really what it comes down to. Here's another really great article. I guess we're doing kind of a speed round here to get through the news of the day. The big news was the World War III. Trump probably going to get a deal out of it, I'd imagine, but the deal is going to involve probably Ukraine losing something. And then that's why we read the transcript going, well, what was the original influence of kind of this whole invasion in the first place? And well, if we look at the original reason, then maybe that's what's going to be part of the negotiations was, well, this is why we went in, this is why we did it, and this is what we want. So that's why it was important. I think a lot of people leave that out. A lot of people are leaving that out, but now you guys are all equipped of why Vlad, one of the reasons why he went into Ukraine. So now you have that, and I'm sure Trump's aware of that as well. Now, this is kind of cool. I don't know where it's going to go, but Texas has moved closer to approving biblical material in public school curriculum. I like this. Our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. And I'll tell you, there is a vast difference between private education and public education, and one of them is culture. And the culture of religious institutions is far greater than secular institutions, let me tell you. Not always, but at least in the school system, as somebody that's worked in both public and private, I will tell you, private is way better because one, they don't put up with bull crap. You'll be kicked out of the school. So if you do anything abusive or harm somebody, peace out, go find another place to get your education. And then two, they also allow, scriptures in there. And you don't have to be a believer, but there's a lot of things in the scriptures that could benefit your life, obviously the moral teaching side of it. But there's a lot of also financial understandings and financial teachings that you can get out of the scriptures as well. So this is a good move. And the Republican-led State Board of Education is on the verge of approving optional biblical teachings in the Lone Star State public school curriculum. On Tuesday, a majority of the board's 15 members signaled support for a blue bonnet learning and elementary school curriculum that includes Christian teachings and biblical references, which is great, which is good. If approved, Texas school districts would be offered a financial incentive to adopt it, and the curriculum would become optional for 2.3 million public school students in kindergarten through 5th grade, beginning in August of 2022. The curriculum includes lessons on the biblical accounts of Jesus' parables, the Good Samaritan, and the Golden Rule. And you know what? The left, because they're crazy, are going to be freaking out over this, even though our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. If your country was founded on great values, wouldn't you or shouldn't you expect somebody to know those very values of which it was founded on? Well, they just had some deity that they believed in. They weren't actually Christian and they didn't really follow the Jews. I hate this whole story and this whole spinning into a pretzel to kind of discredit the fact that God had a major influence on this country. Christ is king. God sat there and created and built this country. And I think he deserves a little bit more respect from people and include him in the classroom and start teaching kids about who our Lord and Savior is. How about that? How about that for once, that we put Christ first? And you know what? You're starting to see a lot of people talk about it. You're seeing a lot of people ever since Donald Trump got elected openly going, hey, you know what? Christ is king. Christ is our Savior. Thank you, Lord. All these things. You saw it from John Jones in UFC most recently. You're seeing people do it on the football field. And you know what? You get a little bit amped up when you're talking about Christ because he should be put forth. And what we have been doing as a country, and for some ungodly, I guess godly reason, I'm not really sure, God's been sitting there taking care of us still taking care of us. I always say Christ and God voted when Donald Trump was shot in the head. Right there, he's like, yep, I want that guy. That guy right there. He's with me. He's with me. This needs to be allowed. And look, if they want to put different faiths in there, if they want to have a Jewish thing offered, do it. If they want to have a Buddhist thing offered, do it. I'm not against it, but we should have this in schools because kids need to know about this. And quite frankly, it should be done by the parents, to be fair. The parents is the number one educator in a child's life, number one educator. But, it's not a bad move to have this and have it be optional. Instead of that woke ideology, if you got all that time to talk about this woke bullcrap that's not even real, like a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, I think you got a little bit of time to talk about the scriptures. Except these people are talking about a man being a woman and a woman being a man aren't probably religious whatsoever. Now, speaking of this woke ideology, you got this here. I'm going to play the trailer. I'm going to play the trailer. As a matter of fact, I should have played the trailer in the first place to let you decide what's going on here. But woke is dead. Jaguar gets mocked for colorful car-free brand relaunch. Now, Jaguar is a car. We all know that. But, dude, watch this trailer. Did they take it down? Oh, hold on a second. I wonder if they took it off. Oh, no, it's still here. You guys let me know. Here's the Jaguar trailer. That was their trailer for a car company. Now, what's crazy was Elon Musk said, "Do you sell cars?" And they actually responded. I love the drama online, baby. So Elon Musk says, "Do you sell cars?" And the Jaguar responded, and kudos to them for doing so. They said, "Yes, we love to show you. Join us for a Coupa in Miami on December 2nd. Warmest regards, Jaguar." I gotta see the replies. Go woke, go broke, go hard. Damn, they're doubling down on this. Why is everything British gay now? As a Brit, I'm formally disowning this. Complete disavow. Nothing to do with us. Where's Shib in the chat when we need him? Shib, this is your people. Right, we're all tribal. This is your people. Don't worry, no one's going to copy this. Where's the car? The story is unfolding. Stay tuned. This is where they start scrambling. They start, oh crap, they're realizing there's no car here, that we're just pushing woke ideology. We got to do another take here, we got to expand this bigger. No, thank you. Does the horn blast your pronouns? That's awesome. I found this prototype. Dog, I drive that over whatever tranny BS they got cooking. Oh my God, dude. Oh boy. So that's a thing. That's a thing. The woke ideology has not left, and they still have not woken up to the fact that it's destructive. It will ruin corporations. And I've always talked about this. If you look at Disney, Jaguar, these huge mega corporations, they don't mind losing billions of dollars for the sake of their crazy woke ideology. It means nothing to them. And you get that from the top. That's not coming from necessarily the bottom. Some people it is. But what's interesting, when you get situations like Disney that's losing a ton of money with Disney Plus, with their entertainment industry, their parks are doing fine, is that they're firing people at the bottom levels and not removing or firing the people at the executive level that's making all the decisions, all the woke decisions. And so then they're still spinning their wheels like, well, we got rid of people, like we replaced them. Well, why are we still not doing well? Well, because your entertainment sucks. It's woke. We're all tired of the crap, and you'll continue to lose money. And you're just lucky that your parks are doing well right now to keep you afloat. But everybody's had enough of your crap. Everybody. And that's why Deadpool did so well, because it made fun of the company of which hired Ryan Reynolds to do Deadpool. And, well, everybody sees the crap that's going on. Tons of poo-poo. Notice I said crap, I'm doing good. And I said poo-poo. I don't think I've cussed once today. Actually, I'm curious on this. Danielle, you said you saw Gladiator 2 yesterday with Denzel. Was it good? Denzel seems like a very weird pick for that, but I could be wrong. Because he's just Denzel. He's not like a caricature of like other things. He's just Denzel all the time. We also have, speaking of woke ideology, I got this for all of you. Let me make sure this is queued. Mike Johnson makes it clear a man cannot become a woman. And he was clear, let me tell you. And not just him, but other people, because there's this whole thing in Congress right now about, men and women.
Bonnie, I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said. But I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions. But that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life, and those are facts. Hello.
Now, I want to be clear. I'm not a very confrontational type of person. If I have to be, I will. I'm going to say clearly, a man cannot become a woman and a woman cannot become a man. If you're a man, you cannot give birth, okay? You're not going to have a period and all that stuff. You're not going to be breastfeeding like the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg. You're not going to be doing that. Now, if you think that you're a man, but in actuality you're a biological woman and you want to dress as a boy, we have a term for that. It's called tomboy. Dress however you please. Just the expectation for all of us to play into that delusion that you are an actual man when you're actually a woman. I'm not going to play into that. I don't mean to be rude. Maybe behind closed doors I'm going to be kind, but I'm not going to play into that because I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's right to the person. But again, should we be kind to people? Yes. But sitting there demanding somebody play into whatever you think that you are, I don't think that's a great expectation, in the same way that I don't expect somebody that's a non-Christian to become a Christian. Would I like them to? Yes, but I'm not going to sit there and shove it down their throat. And that's why I said in the school system, if you want to sit there and allow other faiths to have their scriptures there and everybody can have a scripture time and take part in their own faith, I got nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And that way you're not cramming one specific thing down on each other's throats. Now, do I think it's still important to instill those Christian Judeo values into every faith if they're going to live here in our country? Yes, because again, that value system is what has created the greatest country that's ever been created in human existence. So I think it's important to still have some of those values, regardless of whatever faith you're in. So that's my kind of take on this whole man is a man, woman is a woman thing. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it doesn't matter. They'll get offended no matter what. They're always going to be offended because that's what they do. They play the victim mentality. They get their panties in a bunch. They get all upset. So the whole kind of idea of where this came from, just a heads up, is Mace on trans bathroom ban as a rape survivor. I know how vulnerable women are in private spaces. So this is what I was talking about, that there's a push right now to ban basically men and women's bathrooms and so on and so forth. So Nancy Mace said Tuesday that her push to ban men who identify as transgender women from being able to use women's restrooms in the in the house was about protecting women in private spaces. And it's always interesting when you have these conversations with progressives. They go, well, why would a man ever want to harm a woman in a bathroom? It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, to be honest. There's just crazy people out there. There's a lot of psycho people out there that want to do a lot of psycho things. And I think we have it so good in a holistic view, in a bird's eye view, that people forget that there's actual evil out there, and there's people committing actual heinous crimes every single day, murders happening across the country every single day, rape, all this stuff. So if you can limit that by taking certain things away, like men going into women's bathrooms, and by the way, I don't feel comfortable having a woman come into my bathroom. Does that make sense? It's like weird, like what is she doing in here? If you want to, hey, whatever. I'm just saying, it's like, it's a little weird. It's kind of the guy's space, you know what I mean? It's already weird enough that you're peeing or doo-dooing next to somebody else, let alone a woman. That'd be weird. So it could be a cultural thing. I don't know. But that's what we have for the news today. Again, folks, I apologize for cutting a little bit early. It is Wednesday, and quite frankly, I got meetings to have in the morning, and I got to make sure I get there on time because I take my job seriously, and I love my job. So I want to make sure that I'm professional and I do everything that I am supposed to do. Everybody over at Rumble, I greatly appreciate all of you. We got a lot of people over there. Again, buy up Trojan Horse, give it as a gift for the holidays. I would really appreciate that, you guys. If you don't want to, well, you don't have to, but it's there for you. As well as shirts, mugs, hoodies, everything like that. If you got a spouse and you're like, I really want a Bald Bradshaw hoodie or mug or something, yeah, send them the link. Send them the link. With that being said, we'll be back here tomorrow, folks. Hit that like button. Follow us over at Rumble, X, Twitter, all over the place. We're on TikTok as well. Dizzy added me on TikTok. I'll follow you back. If you follow me on TikTok, check that out. And with that being said, I will see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.